Perfect.
All right. Good morning. Y'all see I'm in my office this morning filming. I didn't feel like going down to the shop to shoot this intro, but try to stay on this, put them out a little quicker when we're kind of in the middle of building these brackets and things like that. I hate to cut the videos as short as I do sometimes, but to get to the next section of it sometimes might take me, another 30 minutes of video, and my face is kind of puffy. Hope y'all excuse that. I'm old and early. But we're going to start back up right where we left off on the last one. We got our bracket design and everything ready to cut it out and weld it all together and get this dude going. So I guess get going. Okay, so we got to the point here now. You saw I got the brackets, I cut them out, and I got them, made my mark and got it center punched for where I want to put, shoot, what am I trying to say? For where I need to put the hole for my bolt in the brackets. I did go ahead and I got it measured out. I made the line where I'm going to break my steel over. Now, what I have to figure out is how much the degree of bend is that I need. Now, I know there's probably a really good way to do this that makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to go ahead and just call it what it is. I don't know what that way is, so this is how I'm going to do it. And I don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but I'm going to make it work for me, which is how I have done most things in my life. So I'm going to put this little straight piece of metal right here, and I'm going to angle this dude right here over to the frame rail. Something like this. Let's see here. Now, this is not an exact science. I'm going to just kind of get a rough, actually, you know what I need to do? I need to measure from here to this tip and make it the exact same as what my bracket is. That way I know how far to bring it over. So give me 1 second. I'll go measure that right quick. All right, so it looks like I am 2 3/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna actually do it like this. That way I get my little point to just the right spot. Let's see here. Definitely gotta come way in. You watch, I bet it won't come in far enough. Oh, maybe it will. Right there, I'm at 3 3/8. It is not going to come in far enough. Well, aha, here's what we'll do. There again, this is not going to be an exact science, but I think it'll get me close enough where I can start. And what I'll do, like if it tells me that I need a 40-degree bend, I'll probably take it to a 30 and then take a look at it and then see if it needs more or less. If it needs more, I'll take it to 35. I'd rather sneak up on it than bend it too far, because this is 3/8 plate. You ain't gonna bend that back, not easily anyway. All right, so I got my depth set to the farthest point out right here. So now, yeah, that dramatically changes everything. And that cannot be right. Oh, because this is actually out farther. So basically what I did is, right here is the center line. I measured my 2 3/4 of an inch to that. I should have measured it to right here, because that's actually where the leading edge would be. And that is over 1/2 inch short. So that definitely makes a big difference. Bear with me. We'll figure it out eventually. I mean, at least I figured that out now. Before I got any further into this. And you know what? Honestly, that might have worked the other way. Let's see. Actually, I think it will. Let me go check my measurement again. Check my distance here. I believe I got it right though. Yeah, 2 3/4 of an inch. Okay. All right, so yeah, so I go from this point right here, this furthest point out, to that edge right there. And that pretty much, with it all the way in, pretty much is 2 3/4. So I'm gonna drop this guy down. Bang. Let's see, that's to the outside. Still not sure that I'm really where I want to be just yet. Because I would bend it. Oh yeah, I would bend it from the inside. So I actually need to measure from the face right here. Ugh, I'm going to get it here in just a second. So I need to measure from the face of the edge of the hind joint right there. Let's see, how am I going to do this? I'll keep this nut snug here. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to get it in a minute. Y'all bear with me. This is what happens when you live a lifetime of doing things the wrong way. Tough to sort this crap out. But as stupid and unorganized as this might seem, this is the madness that goes on inside my head. Okay, here we go. So what I really need is, if I could add 1/4 of an inch. So if I put this at 3 inches, all right, let's try that. I feel like I'm making this a lot harder than it really needs to be. All right. And even really, I think, like I said, it's still just going to be a guesstimate anyway. That's what I'm starting with. That right there. Whatever this angle is right here, that's where I'm going to start. So now, I'm going to take this here little angle finder that I've got. Now loosen it a little bit so it'll open. And I'm going to just check this here angle. So now all I got to do is match the angle on this guy, just like so. And that should at least give me a good starting point. All right, so right there I'm matched. Let's see what it gives me. 249.2. I don't think that I'm going to get a useful number out of that. Because I really don't even know what the hell that is. So what I need, just because I rotated it so far around. So we got to get back to 0 here. All right, so there we go, 0. Now we're cooking with grease. So that is telling me Still not really giving me what I want because that's telling me 110.3. I'm not really sure exactly. 69.7 if I flip it. So that 69.7 degrees, I don't think that's right. Yeah, because it's almost a 90. That's kind of weird, huh? All right, so it's 69.7. We're going to call it 70 degrees. Yeah. I'm going to call it 70 degrees. So I'm going to start at 60. I'm going to bend the first one to 60. And we'll stick it up here and we'll see what we get. Just because I really don't want to screw this up and have to cut out some more. So I know that was a heck of a long way to go and probably really confusing for y'all, and I apologize. Normally I cut out that type of stuff, but just showing you the method to my madness that sometimes I go through off camera for you guys. So let's go over here and I'm going to bend this thing to 30 and or 60. I'm going to bend it on my angle finder that I'm looking at. It's going to say 30 because that's half of it. So we're going to bend this thing to 60. We'll come up here, stick it on here, and kind of get a look at it and see. 70, I think, is where we need to be, but I ain't just going to bend it to that and then see. So, I'm going to go bend some steel. We'll come right back. Whew. All right, well, I tried to bend it, and I guess, even though the other bracket was 3/8, I guess just because it was a narrower piece, it bent that no problem, but this was like 7 inches. It bent it to about 6 degrees and then was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. So I had to go over and make a mark on the back side. I had to go ahead and cut into it with my cutoff wheel, which I'm pretty disappointed about having to do so it would bend it. And then of course, as I was bending it, it went ahead and kind of snapped. It didn't bust all the way through, but pretty much. So either way, I had to weld it one way or the other. So once I get it all tacked in place, I'll come back over and I'll cut this. I'll go ahead and cut all the way to the bottom of the little crack right there. That way I can weld the whole thing all the way up. I mean, in the end, it'll probably still look the same, but it's still a little disheartening for me because I really wanted to have it I wanted to break it and have the thing all done in one shot like that. I would have, I don't know, it would have been a lot cooler to have been able to do it that way. But this is what I've got. So I've bent it to 60 degrees. So let's see what we get here. And it looks like 60 will be perfect, actually. Oh yeah, 60 is actually really nice. It was like perfect. Okay, well, so that's what I got right there. So basically what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go on and put a level on this and make sure it's dead nuts level. Then we'll come back and I may go ahead. I've got plenty of clearance inside. Oh yeah, it's got a ton of clearance. So what I may go on and do is run a bead on the inside of this piece. I'll probably tack it on each end. Put a good weld on each end of it. That way it can't try to open or close on me. Then I'll come back. I'll put a bead on the inside of it. I could weld it upside down, but that would suck. Yeah, I'll go on and put a bead on the inside of it, so that way once I cut this outside open that much more, I can get a good weld on it once it's already on here. So burn it here, get me a line marked right here where it's nice and level, which actually really doesn't matter right now. Burn it here. We're gonna run a bead on the inside of it. Then we'll come back, make sure our frame's all cleaned off right here, and tack this whole guy in place right here. And man, that's really good. I actually really like that. That's gonna be good and strong too. So let's jump up here and I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get this thing kind of squared away. All right, so you see I got this guy stuck up on here and everything fits really good. It didn't open up or anything. It didn't pull back down too tight. Everything fits really good. I think what I'm actually gonna do, I'm going to, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take this back off. I'm gonna make sure the frame's good and clean right here. Gotta kind of clean this up a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tack it to the frame real good before I weld this. So I'm gonna pop it back off here right quick because I don't want it to transfer too much heat into that heim joint because it's got that nylon rod in. And that dude is toasty warm right at the moment. So I'm gonna go and pull this guy out. Let him sit over here to the side. Pull this out. And actually, before I final weld this, or before I weld this on, I've got to final weld this bracket or else I'll never be able to get to it to get in there good again. So I guess I'm going to have to kind of decide if I want to just burn this guy in and just rub. I mean, I've already got the little C-notch put on there, so I guess at this point I'm committed. So I reckon what I'm going to do then is we'll go ahead and we'll burn this thing all the way in, inside and out. Then once that's welded in, I'll kind of go ahead and we'll clean up this whole area, and then we'll be ready to finish up that piece for the mount. So I guess I'm going to get to the welding and cleaning up part of this, which is rather annoying. First, I'm going to sweep because it's really dirty right here. All right, so finally got this all cleaned up. I spent a little bit more time grinding this little spot right here than I really wanted to. I'll show it to you right quick. The reason why I did that is because it's actually in 1/4 of an inch, and my weld kind of overlapped onto this piece a good bit, and I wanted my washer to be able to seat, or not my washer, but my misalignment spacer. I wanted it to be able to seat up nice and flush. I didn't want it to hit my weld or anything like that. So let me grab the camera, I'll show you here. So I realize that sometimes it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. I do the best I can to try to get you where you can see. So that's what we're looking like. I do the best I can to try to get you where you can see what I'm doing without, you know, me blocking the view. Now you'll notice what I did. I kind of grounded the frame just enough to leave a little line right there. That way I'd know where that parking brake mount went. But see that one, it's all welded on the inside and the outside. And we'll look inside the frame. That's all burned in there nice. There was a hole right there I had to fill, and then one on the other side I had to fill. And then there was a hole right here that I had to fill as well. But got all that welded up. So now we're going to see about throwing that guy on there. So let me get you back on the tripod here. Alrighty. So now, like I did on the front end, I went ahead and I took my calipers and I measured across this, and I made me a little spacer that measures the same as that, because like I said, you got like this little neoprene or or nylon, whatever the hell it is, not neoprene, nylon inserts on these heim joints. And if you get them dudes really hot, they will melt. And that's not a good plan. So, where's my bolt here? I think this is the one I had. So my plan is to stick that guy on there like so. Ooh, I almost grabbed that guy. That would have been hot. Figure this out here. Bear with me. I'm working on it. All right. Stick that guy on there. Stick this. Thusly. There we go. Now we're cooking with sizzling. Alright. So now, I can snug that up pretty much by hand. It doesn't have to be super duper duper tight. And it appears I don't have any type of measuring device at all. Well, level. Let me go grab my level right quick. My degree finder, not my level. Frame rail, city. Looks like, let's see if we can get her right here. Looks like roughly 1.7 degrees up. So go down here, 2.8. Too far. There we go. 1.7 degrees up. So I'm gonna tack this guy on, get him kind of stuck in place real good, and then we'll weld this across here. You see I went ahead and I cleaned that out so I can get a good weld in there. So let me get my welder and we'll tack this guy in there. That dude is on there. Shoo, buddy. Yep, definitely got some heat in that junk. So, definitely gonna let that cool for quite a while, and I'll probably polish this well just a touch, knock any little chunks of spatter off here and there, and this side will be donezo. So, essentially what I'll do is everything you just saw me do right here, I'm going to go ahead and do on the other side and get that side all the way knocked out. Then we'll have to go ahead and tack our arms onto, we'll have to run our arm back. I'll have to tack weld the heim joints on the arm, on the link arm, run it back. We'll have to tack it on the axle where it goes. Remember we made the marks and marking where it goes. So we'll get that marked and in place, tack it on. Man, then it'll be time to start making some bag mounts. So I'm gonna get going, building these brackets and everything, and get going on this other side, and we'll come back when this one's all done and ready for a little, you know, little weld through primer, not weld through, dang it, etch. Golly, that's the word I'm looking for, etch. And then at some point we'll put this bracket back on too. Basically, I'm gonna go do the other side right now, and then we'll come back and I'll show you where we're at. All right, well, scratch a whole lot of that crap that I just said. I think I've just decided that I'm gonna go ahead and put this parking brake bracket on anyway, and just be done with it. Now, I'm gonna have to go back to the video right quick and take a look at it and see how it was sitting. I feel like it was like that, in which case I'm just gonna move it to up here. But I don't remember, because it could have been like that too. I feel like it was like this. It had a big chunk of bracket right here. I think this is what I'm gonna go with. Yep. I'm gonna tack that dude in place, and I feel pretty good about it. Then I'm gonna go to the video, and we'll come back if it's time to weld it. I feel good about it though. All right, well, it's tacked on there. Feeling pretty good about it. Now, if you'll just give me 1 second, I'm going to go back to video where I cut this off, and we'll come back and see if I got it right, or if I got to cut this thing back off again. Hopefully not. This is why I should look before I do this stuff. Maybe I can twist this thing off here, because of course I got it wrong. Let's see. There. All you gotta do is, same thing over again. Probably should have put on my welding mask before I got all ready to go here. Could have been worse. Well, that didn't go well. And some days I just make things way harder on myself than they really have to be. Today is apparently one of those days. Alright, I think that'll work. Wow, I actually nailed that dead at 90 degrees. Alright. So now, parking brake cable should clear just fine going that way. Alright. I'm gonna burn this dude on there. Now, they had this thing like welded like solid everywhere. I feel like that's a lot of overkill, so I'm gonna definitely weld in the bottom here. Damn, I got a big gap right there if I wanna weld that. Probably not gonna try to fill that gap with weld. I'll throw a couple beads on it though, but I don't know that it needs to be welded solid. Yeah. So now, like I said before, I'm going to finish letting all this cool off. Polish this one little weld right here up, put some etch on it, come back, show it all to you when it's all a little bit more touchable. I accidentally touched that, it's still very, very hot. So come back when it's a bit more touchable. So, let me tell you a funny story. So that last clip that you just watched was actually filmed 8 weeks ago. So 8 weeks ago, I was making really good progress on this thing. I was working on it almost every day. And then life happened and came along, and I think every car we own tore up over the last several weeks in between ordering parts and fixing things, and then something else tearing up because of another thing. Here we are, 8 weeks later. Now, throughout the course of that 8 weeks, you know, I tried like here and there. I might get 15 or 20 minutes here or there to try to work on this, which obviously you can't get much of anything done at that point in time. So what I did get done was, remember we were making our mount. I did get the mount made for the other side, and I got it all put on. I did get my link arms, my lower link arms. I got the Heim joints. I got them tacked together, and you see this one is kind of sitting up right now. So if you remember a while back, you know, when we made our straight line down the top of our axle, did the same on the bottom, made a straight line, a center line, not a straight line, center line. So I took the ears, the tombstones that we made, they had the holes drilled and everything, went ahead and I put them on, put the bolt through them, and stuck it up there to the bottom of the axle. I made the center mark and then a mark 1/8 of an inch out on either one. That way I could rotate that the same way as we did the top ones. Now I've got this one sitting in place right now. I'm ready to tack it in place. I believe I got it all where I want it to be. The same as the top. I went one mark past on the inside, one mark past the opposite direction on the outside. Now, you don't have to do that. I mean, you can put that thing running straight. Your Heim joint is meant to run at lots of different angles anyway, but I mean, I figure if I can have it pointed at it, I mean, so the Heim joint is operating in the middle of that ball as much as possible. I don't really see what that could hurt, right? So that's my goal. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna get under here and get her tacked in place. And then once I get them tacked in place real good, then we'll be able to jack the back of this truck up, put it on jack stands up in the air so that I can fully cycle this suspension and make sure that everything functions like it's supposed to, doesn't bind up and all that good kind of stuff. And then if all that goes well, God willing, we're gonna be ready to start making some bag mounts for this thing and really kind of turning the corner on getting this rear suspension knocked out. And I am more than excited about that.
All right, so today's episode was one of those lessons in how you can really overthink the hell out of something simple, like when I was trying to get the angle for that bracket. I'm sure on that day it made perfect sense, everything that I was thinking, but when I was sitting here watching it, editing, I'm like, hey, moron, just measure it off the stupid face of the misalignment spacer. It's just crazy how when you can take the expanded view down the road and everything seems so much more simple and obvious than it actually is. And, you know, that's just how it goes. And then trying to weld the parking brake bracket back on, and just got ahead of myself. I just wanted to weld it right then, and I did. And you saw what happened. I turned around and knocked it back off. So, you know, these are the things that happen, you know, when you build projects like this. And that's one of the things that I always really try to showcase in my videos is, you know, the stuff you really go through. You know, it never goes as easy as it's supposed to. Well, it doesn't for me anyway. I hope it does for you. And if so, well, God bless you. But it certainly doesn't go like that for me. But all that being said, we're going to wrap this one up right here. It's a good stopping point. We've got our brackets made. We've got our link arm stuck on there. We've got a good look at what the next episode is going to be. Start working on those lower links that go on the axle. So if you made it this far, as always, thank you a whole lot. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. If you like the video, if you like the content, you think the truck's kind of cool, it's going to be kind of cool when we get done with it, would love it if you throw me a little subscription on there. Click that little button. You know, make a comment. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm an idiot, that's cool too. I'm good with that. I have my days. So that being said, thanks a lot. See you in the next one.